everybody, it's Oksana, and today I'm going to show you how to make this style of pendant. Now, the one that I'm going to make for you today is this one in the middle here, but the other two I just have as examples to show you how you can, do this on an oval stone, what that looks like, and just by bending these wires a little bit differently, how you get slightly different looks. But the one that I'm going to demonstrate for you today is going to be this one here. So if you want to see how to make this pendant, then keep watching. So I'm starting out with two pieces of square dead soft 21 gauge wire. This is my stone. You can use 20 gauge as well. This is a teardrop shaped tiger's eye cabochon. So what you want to do if you have a teardrop shape is you want it to be upside down, or if you have an oval shape, then it doesn't matter, but this will work for both. And the key to this design is the stone stays in and doesn't slip out because the wire goes around a portion that is skinnier. So here in the bottom it's thinner, and then it gets wider as it gets up here. And with ovals, they have, both ends have a thinner spot as well. So what you want to do is find the middle of your wire and put it kind of towards the bottom of your stone, and then bend your wire like that. And now, this part may be slightly tricky, but you want to kind of turn the wire so that it lines up with each other, and you can connect it. So kind of like this. And you can just kind of mess around with it if it doesn't look centered enough. Basically, you just want to turn your wires so that they touch at some point there. Then we're just going to take a piece of 22 gauge wire, and you can leave this on the spool or you can cut off a little piece. It's up to you. This is half round wire. And what you want to do is wrap it around just like this, maybe about 4 times or so, and then you want to cut your little ends so that they end up in the back when you press them down with your pliers. And then you just kind of want to press, just go over this whole bit. So now here's the front, and the stone would go in like so. Now you can put these outer wires to the side if you want, and out of these wires that are going straight up, make the bail. So if you want to follow them straight up, you get to the very top here, you want to make a bend like this. See that? And you can use a half round wire to wrap around the bail, kind of like I wrapped right there. Or I'm going to use some 28 gauge wire that is round, and I'm going to weave around the bail, since I usually use the half round wire just to mix it up and make a different bail for once. You can just do your weave of choice, whatever you like. So the weave that I'm doing is, let me move my camera here. Basically where I do a wrap around the bottom wire, and then I can kind of go up and do a wrap around the top wire, and then I do a wrap around both of the wires. So I'm bringing it through the wires from back to front, all the way down around to the back, over the top of both of the wires, down through the middle, from front to back, up, toward me, all the way down, all the way around, and through the middle, back to front. So here's what that looks like, and what I'm gonna try and do is just spread these wires a little bit, so when I make the bail, it kind of gets a little wider, but I'm basically just gonna repeat this pattern until this is tall enough to be bent into a bail. All right, so now I'm done, and I cut my wire, but I left myself a tail. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bend my bail into the shape of a bail. Like that. I'm gonna use these little wires here, both the little tail that I was left in from when I started and then this tail here, and it's totally up to you. The point is we're attaching, so you can kind of just wrap it however you want around these other wires. So I'm grabbing the tail end that's coming from the front with my pliers, just because it's a little easier to handle such a small little end. And then I'm just kind of wrapping it randomly around these wires here in the back. And so I've wrapped around individual wires and both, and now I'm just cutting it short, and I'm tucking that little end in under so it goes to the other side. And then same thing with this end. That is our tail end from when we finished, so it's coming from the back. Oops, this little end didn't get tucked in very well. Do it again. This other end that's coming from the back, and maybe you want to just wrap around everything a few times, just literally just around the whole bail, like that. And then come back to these back wires here and just wrap a few times. So I'm wrapping around the bottom wire and around the top. I'm almost just like following that little weaving pattern just a little bit to get it all secure so that the bail is nice and connected, doesn't open back up. So now I'm just gonna cut it and tuck in that little end. So here's what that looks like. You can see right here the bail is now connected. So now you can put your stone in, pop it in there, and put your bail where it's supposed to go. There we go. Like this. So the stone right now has the ability to kind of shift from side to side, so just center it. Line it up so it's nice and centered. And now on the back, we have these two wires that are coming from the bail. So what you want to do is you want to cut them so you have just a little bit longer than this, so it goes a little bit past, because what we're going to do, and you may want to just grab these wires just gently and pull them towards yourself with your pliers to just raise them a little bit. See how it raised it a little bit? Because we're actually going to tuck these bail wires underneath these. So you kind of have to bend them a little bit and get them under there. There we go, and just pull them tight so they're a little bit discombobulated. I'm just going to try and get them as straight as possible and get my stone centered and straight as well. And then I'm just going to grab the little end for both of them and just basically make a little loop. And just tighten that loop up nice and tight so that it connects that. Okay, like so. So now we have just 2 more wires left. I'm just kind of tightening this up a little bit. All right. So you can put various little personal touches on this design. I'm gonna go and do this. Just put like little bends here. It's up to you, or you can just have these wires right up against each other. And now these wires, you can, put them really close if you want to, or you can kind of separate them out. So mine are obviously separated out, like so. And now I'm bringing these to the back. And on the back, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna separate these wires a little bit that are coming from my bail, and I'm gonna grab them with my pliers and just lift them up gently. And I'm cutting these so that I have a little tail end, because I'm gonna be doing the same thing. So you wanna make sure your stone is all nice and centered. Look at it from the front. Make sure that it's not, didn't get moved out of place. So same thing, grabbing that little tail end, bringing it around. Grabbing it there, putting it this way. Now I'm gonna make little loops, but first I'm just gonna double check that there's nothing that I need to adjust or move around. All right, that looks good to me. So I'm just taking these little loops and I'm kind of bringing it all the way around and closing up the loop. Just like that. So here is what it looks like from the front and from the back. So here's a finished piece along with some other examples. So in this one, it is an oval, so you just have to make sure that the wire goes across a part that's smaller. So you wouldn't want it to be like right here in the middle, because then it could slide up. It needs to be below the middle so that it can't slide up, because the stone naturally gets wider. And on this one, in contrast to this one, I kept these wires together, and then it's these wires that I bent just a little bit on the bottom for this different kind of look. And then the bail I did with half round wire instead of weaving on it. And then if you find any of this to be loose, like if your stone moves around at all, I had that problem with this one a little bit. So what you want to do to tighten the wires is you just take your pliers and you can put bends in the wire like I did here, and that kind of tightens up if there's any wires that are loose. It tightens them up a little bit. And then here's another example. So for this one, I kept these wires together and I just kind of separated these out. Just another kind of look. And then with the bail on this one, I just kind of brought the wires and I did the bail backwards, if you know what I mean. If you can see that, how it just kind of goes around and then down, and then these wires split up and then they come back together. So just something a little different to show you all the different examples of ones that I've done. So that is it. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. Thank you for watching. Bye.